What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I've got another very important AMC update to bring all of you this evening. So what we're going to be covering in this update is the potential for another AMC run to happen in the very near future. Are we close to getting towards the time where we could start to see the type of price action that we are going to be getting past all-time highs? And we're going to be going through a wide variety of things. We're going to be going over a little bit of the Ortex data, the options chain going into the end of this week, which I think a lot of people are really interested about right now. Today was kind of a little bit of a FOMO and a little bit of delta hedging, so a little tiny gamma squeeze going on throughout today. But again, these can last multiple days. We're going to see more people buying options and more market maker delta hedging. In addition to this, we also have some short squeeze alerts that we have to go over as well. And we're going to do some technical analysis to just kind of see, well, what happened with AMC? What are we looking at it to do going forward? And a little bit at the end, we're going to cover GameStop as well, because remember, these stocks move together. If one of these stocks is going to do one thing that's very incredibly bullish, the other is probably going to follow right behind. So before we get into all of that information, if you enjoy the information and analysis that I provide for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. And again, guys, you saw the people in the live chats this morning absolutely crushing it with 1348. If you do want access to all of those crossover alerts, make sure you check out down below the link to our Discord with me, Review Dork, and the Masked Investor. So today, AMC closed the day $20.78, and you guys got your ankles. You're welcome, you bunch of weirdos. So we were up 13.58% over here. Right now we're down a little bit, but when we see a lot of in the after hours, so when we see these giant price movements to the upside, yesterday in the after hours and during today, it does make sense that there is going to be a little bit of either shorting or some day trader profit taking right in the after hours. But again, we definitely can still see a lot of upside potential. Now, coming and looking at the 4-hour chart for AMC, it's been doing exactly what 1348 has been telling us that it would. We saw this 1348 crossover right here. The blue line is the 13. The red line is the 48 EMA. We see it cross here. Then we start to see some nice candles. Literally the first closing candle that we see above this 200 EMA on the 4-hour was when we went from 18 in the after hours yesterday all the way up to 2065. Now, we are seeing a couple of confirmation candles here. We came down to test the 13 and we ripped right back up. These are some very bullish indications for AMC going forward. Now, is it possible that we're going to have a red day and every now and then here kind of trying to pull us back a little bit, cool off the RSI? Yes, absolutely. But what we're seeing here and what 1348 really is a momentum and a trend indication. It seems like right now we are in the beginning of a very bullish trend. Now, the one thing that we really want to get towards is that 1348 cross and that 200 EMA break on the daily chart for AMC. So we have a little bit of a ways to go on that. On Webull right here, we have the 200 EMA at 2538. But what I want to look at here now, I know I said we were going to do this a little bit later, but GME is right there on the daily chart. It flashed above it today. It came back down. We didn't necessarily get that closing candle, but we can see here, essentially this 200 EMA on the daily chart is at 143 and GME closed at 141. It is right there knocking on the door at a couple of these breakout levels. So in addition to this, I do kind of want to go over some of the Ortex data that we're seeing here with these cost to borrows. So AMC right here, 100% utilization. We have 2.2 million shares borrowed today, a net borrow of 318,000 shares. Average cost to borrow here, 2.71%, so it is slowly stepping its way up. And this max cost to borrow over here of 4.33% is some of the highest max cost to borrows that we have seen on AMC in the recent past, which is a very strong thing to see. In addition, we also have this 21.07% estimated short interest, and the shares on loan actually went up from yesterday back up to 133 million. Now, I do want to go over a couple of these trading signals over here. We do have the short squeeze type 2 and short squeeze type 3 signals on Ortex. Now, I know we were getting a couple of questions on this day. The mean return for this signal right here is 1.68%. The recommended holding period is 2 days. The short squeeze type 3, the mean return is 19.56%. The recommended holding period is 2 days. So right here, you can see all of these trading signals that have been kind of fired off on AMC over the last couple of months. Now, every single time we have seen a massive run up in AMC, we've also seen a Ortex short squeeze type 2 and 3 score, but not every time we see these short squeeze scores or these type 3 alerts come out on Ortex, we see a run up. So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Just because we're seeing these sort of alerts coming from Ortex doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to see a massive run up, but everything really points to everything really kind of leaning in our direction right now. In addition, over here, I do want to kind of hit GameStop short interest right now and cost to borrow and what's going on with this. So we have 22.97% max cost to borrow on GME over here, 12.62% average cost to borrow. And then we also have 23.33% estimated short interest. So again, really, really high short interest on a lot of these different stocks, which is a very, very solid thing to see, especially since we are seeing the stocks start to move to the upside. Now, in addition to this, specifically relating to AMC, you guys have heard me talk about this a couple of times in the past, but we are right in the danger zone right now in terms of kind of short interest. Now, there are multiple danger zones, and when you kind of think about what these danger zones are, I look at them as what is the average days on loan telling us? When the average days on loan goes down, it means that there is a lot of shares going out on loan recently, meaning most likely there's a lot of shares getting sold short into the overall market. Now, when we look at the average days on loan right here at January 10th, it was about 75.93 days. It falls all the way down to 64. So that's a pretty significant decrease in average days on loan right here. But what was the price of AMC doing right around this time? So when we take a look at this January timeframe right here, January 12th, we were trading 22.47 and we fell all the way down to 15. So when we see ourselves run right through this zone right here, back up to almost the upper end of that danger zone where a lot of these shorts were adding to their positions, well, that is going to put a lot more pressure on these short institutions as well, which is another really, really solid thing to see. Now, additionally, I do want to talk about the options chain for AMC as well. And I do apologize a little bit for my voice right now. It might sound a little bit hoarse. We were live streaming all day. I was going kind of crazy. I'll try to make it better for tomorrow. So when we see here, we have 100, let me see if I can refresh this right here because we did come down a little bit. Yeah, so we have 100,858 call contracts in the money right now. We have 72,000 call contracts out of the money, but there's only about 907 puts in the money. That is very, very dangerous for these market makers. When you see this massive imbalance between the calls in the money and puts out of the money, it means that it's really hard for these market makers to counteract the options that they are selling on the call side with selling puts. So it means that they have to go out in the open market and delta hedge. That's why we're talking about these gamma squeeze concepts, because it does look like since we're seeing the max pain at around 1550 to 1650, it fluctuated from yesterday to today. Well, you are seeing ourselves well above that range, so they are starting to delta hedge. Now, when we come over to the actual options chain for AMC over here and take a look at this weekly, there's a lot of options at 20. There's a decent amount at 21, but you can kind of see here that nothing is that crazy on this options chain. I mean, we are seeing some of this volume start to get accounted into some of this open interest right here. And some of the things that I think people are not understanding is that these open interest numbers on this side right here in this column are the amount of contracts that are being held in accounts right now. And this volume number is how many times the basically contracts at this strike have been traded. So it's possible that these contracts right here, these 23,000 contracts, have been trading back and forth a lot. But I think a lot of people are really looking to hold a lot of these options. And the market maker, if there is a high demand for a lot of these options contracts, well, they have to sell them to people. That is their job. And what happens then? They sell these options. Then, well, if they start to run deep in the money, which they kind of are starting to get to right now. I mean, we're at 2074. We could easily see some additional price movement to the upside. Well, they're going to go out and buy more shares to hedge the options that they sold and push the prices higher. And you can see the volume on this strike today, 126,000 contracts were traded. The amount of action that AMC is now starting to see on its options chain is absolutely nasty. So this could lead to some more price movements coming up over the next couple of days to the upside, but we're kind of just going to have to wait and see. So are we kind of ready to see these big moves to all-time highs? Well, I'd say that we're in a good spot to start to see pretty big run-ups to the upside. The options chain is lining up. The Ortex data with cost to borrow is looking pretty good. 1348 and the 200 EMAs are telling us a lot of of really solid things. We would like to get above that daily 200 EMA on AMC and GME with some closing candles, some confirmation candles, before we could really say, yep, we are completely ready to kind of explode here. But things are looking really, really good, guys. So that is going to wrap up this update on AMC. If you enjoyed the information and analysis that I provided for you in this video, make sure you go down and hit that like button. It costs you nothing to do it, but it really helps us out a whole lot in getting this information out to as many people who want to learn. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.